psychedelic realness. I scared Will's headphones off. Fantastic. We're off to a great start.
Good job. Good job.
I'm proud of myself on that one. But hola and bienvenidos. Buenas noches para todos on the internet. Hi to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, both the English and the Espanol. So I'm gonna workshop that. I promise. I'm gonna get better next week. But hello, all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another exciting rendition of Los Lobos de la Lucha, your weekly CMLL review show here on the BC WrestlePod conglomeration network, Telemundo Especial. Like, we just pretty much have whatever and wherever we got. I am, of course, joined by my lovely host this evening. But once back again, the whole entire trio is here. First and foremost, you know him, you love him. He is rocking a limited edition BC WrestlePod hockey jersey that only a select few people ended up getting not too long ago. But it is El Bundador, the segundo is in the house. Hello, my friend.
Bienvenidos, mi gente. How are we? I'm a little tired tonight, so
I got that vibe. We're gonna get through it though, and we're gonna have some fun because this is a fun show. But then, of course, rounding us out in our trio, we cannot do this without him. But our lovable token white person, no, just kidding. Our lovely co-host, Papa Osa himself, Will, is here pulling double duty tonight, which I thoroughly thank him for. But welcome, Will. I'm happy to be back with another episode of CMLL with you.
Yep. Welcome. I just said welcome. I'm happy to be here is what I meant to say.
This show's going to be fantastic. I swear it. But we are here to review another exciting episode of CMLL. So tonight we are going to be reviewing the Viernes Espectacular show that happened not too long ago. So that
just
would be
this past Friday.
Yep, this past Friday. So Friday, October 11th. And we have some really fun matches to talk about and a certain promo that made an appearance.
Yup.
So this is going to be a fun one for sure. But we are going to jump straight into our review now. So a little bit of housekeeping really quickly. Find us all over the social medias. We are everywhere. Check out us out at Next Level if you want to find all our social medias on one place. You know the deal. You know the spiel. Let's get into it because after we are greeted to this week's episode of Viernes Espectacular from a lovely commentary team of Juan Carlos Castellanos, Miguel Linares Jr., and Miguel Linares himself,
Migueli,
we jump straight into the action because we have a really fun 3-on-3 match. So, un caída, so one fall, in which we have the team of Rey Cometa, Volcano, and El Adoas versus one of our personal mainstays and favorites here in CMLL, from representing one half of Cozy Max, your MLW tag team champs, Okumura, teaming up with Crixus and El Hijo de Stuka Jr. This was a fun one. I'm like biased because anytime Okumura is in these matches, I was like, you are an old man that is about to whoop ass and it's going to be great. And sure enough, he whooped ass. It was fantastic. I thought this was a fun one. This was a good back and forth. Again, this is un caída, so one fall, in which we had the team of Hijo de Stuka Jr., Crixus, and Okumura pick up the win, in which we saw a golden wing lock submission maneuver, which was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, El Buntador, I'm going to come to you first. As we always, we opened up with a one fall match, this time 3-on-3. How did we feel about our opener this week?
It was yet again, fun opener, set the pace for the show. Big man got hops. Crixus and Volcano, they got some moves. They can get in the air. I'm always impressed seeing Crixus and how agile he is. But when Volcano flies, I always get such a kick out of that because he just with no abandon. Just wee. It was a very fun finish. I enjoy Okamura's when he does that finisher. That's a good finisher.
That golden wing lock is a thing of beauty.
Yeah. So that's all I got. It was really good. It was really, really good.
Now we're gonna tag in Papa Oso. So Papa Oso, tagging you in, what were your thoughts of our opener this week?
Of course, Okamura. I love Okamura. I just anytime he's in a ring, I enjoy him. And I think it's because of his age and talent, and the fact that a man of his age is still got it, and it's just great to watch him. Um, I think again, and I don't know, maybe this is just a thing with CMLL or this sort of luchador style wrestling. Is that it always feels like the opening match is sort of like a warm up match. It's like, all right, let's do a match to get the crowd, going. And it did because it seemed very staged, dare I say, more so than you would normally think. I mean, you could see the sort of setups and goes but in the matches afterwards, you don't really see that, like really see it. So I always think that these opening matches are just sort of like, here's an appetizer. Get ready for the main course that's coming up. And and I which I love. I do think it's great. And I usually, because also sometimes if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to think back to the past episodes, but it's mostly like for my part, it's mostly wrestlers I don't recognize. I mean, I knew a couple of these folks. Like I know Okamura, and I've seen Volcano, but I have not seen Ray or I guess I could just look at the screen. Sorry. And the others, Grixis, Stuka Jr., and El Aduas. I don't recognize them, so I always think, well, maybe they sort of put folks that you don't normally see in these opening matches.
Yeah, it was interesting because when I saw Recometa come out, because he usually will come out with Dulce Gardenia and I forgot who else, but that's like the Guadalajara crew that that comes out. So when I saw Recometa and Volcano with El Udaz, I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, cool. I mean, maybe I've seen Ray Cometa. I don't remember, but
Yep.
Is he normally with Volcano?
No, well, that's the whole thing. You probably recognize him if he came out with Dulce Gardenia and
right.
and the
cool.
other guy.
Okay, cool. Okay. Anyway, I just think that sometimes these opening matches are just sort of like, let's just pull people in and let them do some stuff, and then we'll get to the main event, basically, which is great. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and it's always a pleasure to watch. Like I said, Okamura wrestle. I just love watching him. It's just great. When I saw when he was coming out, I was like, oh yay. I love it. We don't get enough of Okamura. We need more. Give us more of him. But no, I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I usually do, but yeah, that was my thing. Is that usually you can see that it feels more staged than the other matches are.
Yeah.
It definitely was. Again, this is a fun opener for us here on this Viernes Espectacular. And we just keep it rolling because then we get into our second match, Un Segundo, where I laugh at this image. Thank you, CMLL, once again for having graphics, because if you had no inclination and you were not watching CMLL and you weren't aware of all these characters, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but we have a, dos caídos, our typical 2 out of 3 falls match. We had Team 1, which is Dark Magic, Espanto Jr., and Raider, which is La Ola Negra, is their little trios faction, taking on the team of Zandoken Jr., Defunto, and Barbosa. I'm just going to really quickly, before I talk about the match, that second team of Zandoken Jr., Defunto, and Barbosa, you cannot tell me that without context, these are literally sound like they belong in Pirates of the Caribbean. These are all Pirates of the Caribbean names. And then we literally have a whole luchador pirate on the card right here in Zandoken Jr.
Yep. Or they belong on One Piece.
Oh, exactly. Listen, One Piece fans are mourning. We have to wait till April for new episodes, but that's okay. Again, this is 2 out of 3 falls match, but there's a little bit of some controversy here because we did have La Ola Negra win. So Dark Magic, Espanto Jr., and Raider did pick up the victory, but by disqualification. I was like,
shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Listen, I'm messy. I love me some good shenanigans. Shenanigans were had in this match. So again, Dark Magic, Espanto Jr., Raider pick up the victory over Zendakin, Defunto, and Barbosa. Those are shenanigans and disqualification. I'm going to come to you again, Buntador. Shenanigans were abound. How did we feel?
Yeah, so this was a level Australiano, best 2 out of 3. And Dark Magic. No, I apologize. Espanto Jr. was your captain for the one team. And then Zandakan Jr. was the captain for the other team. And it's Rudos versus Rudos. And Zandakan, so it started with Zandakan Jr. wanted to put a pile driver on Espanto Jr. And pile drivers are illegal in Lucha. And Zandakan Jr. got in the face of El Bestia Negra, our ref, our abuelo ref, if you will, because he looks like he's got mileage on him. Let's put it that way.
You can say it. He owed. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, good on him.
Well seasoned in life.
He's still there, like doing the thing. But yeah, he's fun to watch. But anyway, so and Zandakan Jr. kind of got in his face about that. There was a Zandakan Jr. and Espanto Jr. Started mixing it up again. Zandakan Jr. Then that this is, and I'd mentioned this in our chat where Zandakan Jr. hit a Tiger Driver into a sharpshooter, which just looked really pretty. Like that's the first time I've seen that combo together, and the way he pulled it off just looked really, really pretty. So initially, Espanto Jr. taps out because he's the captain. That means, and because Zandakan Jr., Defunto, and Barbosa did have I believe they got the pin in the first fall. Technically, they had won, but Zandakan Jr. just held on to the that sharpshooter after Bestia Negro told him to let go, and he wouldn't. So that caused him to get disqualified. And then Zandakan Jr. comes and just like bowled over the ref. I was concerned for him this match. I was very concerned. But yeah, those were your shenanigans. So Dark Magic, Espanto Jr. and Raider end up with the win by disqualification of the other team. I do just want to also make a note. Dark Magic rocking the new ring gear, and I was digging it.
I love it so much. It's so fantastic. All right, Papa Oso, tagging you in here. Same question to you. Shenanigans were abound. How did we feel about our second match of the evening?
Funny thing is when they were announcing everybody, I was like, two Rudos teams, yay! Surely this match will go without anything going on, and I was like, and of course, and it lived right up to it. It was just dirty trick after dirty trick, and I was loving it. And I was really, and I was supporting the team Dark Magic and Espanto Junior and Raider in this one. I kind of wanted them to win, and they did. I hate that it was a disqualification win, but a win's a win, and I'll take it because I was really enjoying the match. I love it when bad guys fight other bad guys. And if I'm not mistaken, as they were going up, wasn't it as they were going up the runway? Did somebody turn around and threw something at somebody? Was that in this one? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, because the end of this match just devolved into a Donnybrook.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
A good old fashioned Donnybrook.
I know. I was just like, did he just throw that? I was like, oh man, someone's pissed. And then I think it was. Who was it? They were from the losing team. When they were exiting, they caught it right there at the end of the two of them fighting in the corner up there.
Yeah, I think it was Barboza and Raider. I think so.
Was that who it was? Okay, I was just like, oh, okay. I guess we're just gonna hold that grudge all the way off stage. So I was like, all right, it was great. I loved it. I love it when the bad guys fight each other. It's super fun. Because shenanigans are going to happen, and they are.
Yeah, and it's so different. And this is just fresh in my mind because of what's going on in AEW. It's so different when you have Rudos versus Rudos and CMLL because it's fun, even though they still do all those dirty hand tactics. It's still fun, whereas like in AEW and the WWE and Western wrestling, like it's more serious. We're the heels and we're gonna use underhanded techniques. Yeah, and it's so serious. But like funny. Here it's just
I never really thought of it like that, but you're absolutely right. It's so fun. The shenanigans here are fun.
Yeah,
I don't get pissed off at them. I'm actually like, yes, they did shenanigans.
You're right.
Over in Western, you're right. In Western wrestling, I get pissed when shenanigans happen.
Yeah,
that's so funny. I never even thought of that. How hilarious is that?
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the difference between the heel and the rudo. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I like the rudo style better. Like I'm biased, but like even just the basic rudos things when they tell the audience to be quiet, and they say, "Oh, you want us to flip?" Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like I just I don't know.
They do a really good job of playing to the crowd, but not for the sake of like, hey, this match is kind of dead. We need your energy. They're just like again, and Ubuntu, you and Papa also here say the same thing every single week in different iterations of it, but the audience of Arena Mexico are an integral part to the action. They are if you have Luchador either singles or tag team or trios, you have A and B in the ring with the ref, and then you have player C or player 3 in the audience, because this crowd is the third participant in every single CMLL show that goes on, because their investment is going to exude through the screen, and it's going to make me more excited for the match. Like, to harken back to the Aniversario show, that crowd was so into that Fatal 4-Way match that we got as the semi-main event. Still think it should have been the main event, but we talked about that at length. That crowd was nonstop from beginning to end, and that was the craziest 45 minutes, and I was spent because the crowd made me extra excited for what went down. And every time I watch his Viernes Espectacular, or if I check in the Saturday, Coliseo shows, like I'm like, this crowd is awesome. I love them. Also, we're trying to raise money so the three of us can go to our own trip to Arena Mexico at least once. Literally, me and Will are probably closest to where it is.
And harkening to what we were just talking about, I've often said it on here. I've said it many, many, many times, but the audience is an active participant in these events. They are in a 6-man, they're the 7th man. I mean, it's, they're actively involved, and it's like theater. I mean, it is truly like this style of wrestling is true theater, because in theater, as a performer myself, as an actor, I feed off the audience's energy, and it enhances my performance. And the more they give me, the more I will give them back. And it's very much like that here, as opposed to Western style wrestling, where the audience is, for the most part, is sort of ignored. They're observers as opposed to participants. And so it's very rare do you get Western wrestlers like truly addressing the audience to get them involved. They did it to get them all, riled and just be, what they are. But here it is literally like they are part of what's going on. And I love that. I think it is so special. This style of wrestling, or just CMLL and all of the sort of wrestling companies in Mexico and the Central and North and South America and those. I mean, it's truly special. It really is, and more people should be watching it. Don't let Don't let the language scare you off.
No, wrestling, as I think we try to cover it here, and I try to say this, that I know we cover a lot of Western promotions, but we also do CMLL. And then occasionally, like we're about to in January, which, by the way, I'm opening an invitation to all my BC WrestlePod boys, with Japan, with Wrestle Kingdom and then Wrestle Dynasty happening in January. Wrestling is universal. Language barrier aside, like, to me, the inaction is going to speak more volumes to the actual language itself. And I find myself loving when we go to these international places, like with CMLL in Mexico, New Japan, of course, in Japan, even like other parts. UK wrestling has its own culture there too. Wrestling is one of the few things I believe that doesn't require any language, and it doesn't matter what language you speak in the world. Everyone can understand what's going on with the physicality and the storytelling, which is fantastic.
Right.
I thought, again, shenanigans abound. I did not mind the shenanigans. This was a lot of fun. So really quickly, I do want to take the time before we talk about our next match that October in Arena Mexico and just in CMLL in general is a celebration for who, you may ask. But the month of October in CMLL is also known as Mes de las Amazonas. So it is a celebration of the Amazonas division, which is our women's wrestling division here in CMLL, which is going to lead at the end of this month into its crescendo and its climax of the Amazonas Team International versus Team Mexico Grand Prix, just like we had with the men back in the summer, which is a good segue because we get to see the Amazonas in action next. Oh, this match, you guys, I was like, yeah, this is so good. Okay, so calm down, Mikey. Family is on the side. So once again, this is another Dos Caídas match. So 2 out of 3 falls. And we got to see 4 Amazonas in action in this tag team match, in which we had La Catalina teaming up with Samantha Black, who both of them are going to be representatives in the Grand Prix coming up very shortly, taking on the team of Zuxis and Dark Silueta, who Zuxis is going to have a busy couple of weeks. Let's just put it at that, and we're going to talk about that why in a bit. But again, these 4 went nuts. This was what I wanted. Zeuxis is powerful. La Catalina. All these women did fantastic. Of course, there can only be one team winning. And La Catalina kind of, evens the score a little bit to avenge her loss from last week and being eliminated from that final match last week because La Catalina and Samantha Black beat, Zeuxis and Dark Silhouette, known as Las Infernales, with one of my favorite moves of this episode, a crossbody from Catalina onto Dark Silhouette, and I was just like, bravo, bravissimo. I loved every single moment of this match. This was so fantastic. I freaking love this. And at this point, I was like, you know what? If I had to go to bed early, I could have been fine and I could watch the rest of this later. But no, my favorite match would happen a little bit later. I'm going to go in reverse order this time, and I'm going to jump and tag in Papa also for this one. As the resident stand of women's wrestling, just in general, how did we feel about this match?
I love the women's matches. It's just like, I love Zeuxis. I believe, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, sir.
I love her. I just love everything about her. And I love La Catalina too. Samantha Black was impressive. I think this is the first time I've seen Samantha Black.
Yeah, which I think is great because we're going to be seeing her in the international, Grand Prix coming up in 2 weeks. So I think CMLL is being very smart at starting to showcase some of the participants,
which is great. And of course, Dark Silhouette I liked as well. I mean, I liked all four of these women. I thought this match was great. And again, it's, and I say it every time, the women, they are so aggressive, and I love it. It is so, the men are, and for the most part, the men's matches are just really pretty. They're just, the high flying, beautiful, beautiful high fly. You almost watch them in slow motion. It's just so pretty. And even when they're all the techniques and stuff they're just technically beautiful. And then the women come along and they're like, screw all that. We're going to tear each other's faces off. And it's amazing. And I love, and of course, all of them have their own style and they all just went at it. And this is the one I had to go. I went and watched it twice just because I was so excited the first time. I missed a lot of it. And so I went back and watched it again. And it was just so good. I think here at CMLL, I think they have some of the best women wrestlers I've ever seen. I truly believe that. Every one of them. There's not a one that I have seen so far that I do not enjoy watching. Not a one. Now there are men wrestlers in CMLL that I'm like, okay, whatever. But I have not seen a single of the women yet that I have not enjoyed watching. They're all talented. They're all, they fight like there's something at stake. You have that sort of when they're fighting, and we see it later on too, but when they're fighting, it is so like, I have to win this. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I loved it a lot. And La Catalina, I love La Catalina. So, yay.
I love this match as well. So, El Buntador, same question to you. This is the first of 2 Amazonas match this evening. How do we feel about this one?
So, it felt great. I need to roll it back a little bit because we need to bring to light how we got to this match and why it going off the way it did and looking so good is so special. So last week, La Catalina, it was announced, was going to be wrestling Timeless Tony Storm in this Viernes Espectacular. And the hurricane came. Tony Storm could not fly to Mexico. So literally, like at the last minute, because I think that this match was announced on Thursday, right?
Yep.
They pulled this match together, with Zoxys and Dark Silueta and La Catalina and Samantha Black. And there are, when you watch this match, there are some times that you can see that kind of come through, more so with Samantha Black. She had a few like minor miscues, not enough to make her first appearance in CMLL, at least for her first appearance for us, to dilute it at all, because she was fantastic. I'm excited to see if they utilize, if she's in more matches leading up to the Grand Prix. But just the fact that it literally, these four were put together at the last minute and came out with this banger of a match, it to me, it elevates this match even more.
Absolutely. And we will talk about the timeless one in a little bit. So this should be very interesting for sure. I love this match. This is fantastic. But we move on from this because then we get into our semi-main event, if you will, of the evening, which also not wasted any time from last week's episode. I just want to take a moment to thank the wrestling gods to giving us this fantastic this match. But stemming from last week, because they had beef with each other during the match and when they were with their crew, I was like, okay, cool. We're gonna see this match like in a couple of weeks. These two are gonna fight it out. It's gonna be great. No, they immediately announced it for next week, which was this past week, which I love to see for sure. But in our semi-main event, in 2 out of 3 falls, Dos Caídas as well, we a special mano a mano match. We have Volador Jr. versus the Alchemist of CMLL himself, Mr. Hechicero. I love Hechicero so much. I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys. He might be in my top 3 of my favorite wrestlers this year. I gotta revisit the list in December. But we got a special, 2 out of 3 falls match. I knew this match was gonna be good, and it was amazing. I love this match. I'm a big fan. I've become a big fan of Volador Jr. I think he is fantastic. Hechicero has a special place in my heart. This man is part of probably my favorite match of the year in that Fatal 4-Way. Oh my gosh, this was fantastic. And of course, Volador, like we were tied 1-1 going into the final fall. And through an inside cradle of all things, Volador Jr. picks up the victory here. And this was a beautiful thing for sure. And your winner of this match is Volador Jr. We'll talk a little bit afterwards because some words were exchanged at the end of this match between the two. But I'm going to go to El Butador the second first. So, semi-main event, Volador Jr., Hechicero, 2 of our faves here in CMLL. How did we feel about this special mano a mano match?
Oh, it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed, and I hope I'm not getting my matches mixed up, that Hechicero tried the mask trick again, but got caught by the ref. Am I right? Like that's this match, right?
I think so. Actually, no. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because then, because he tried the mask thing, he threw it, got down. That's when Volador Jr. got him into the cradle, and El Güero Noriega had Hechicero's mask and just threw it at just threw it at him. It
was
was
so
good.
funny.
Oh man, it was so funny.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
When he tried to do the same thing he did the last time.
Yeah, and both it was good. Yeah. It was very entertaining. This was a great semi-main event because it kept the energy going, but it was different. You had that funny moment which broke up like the seriousness of the matches going on and kind of like gave you time to prepare for what the main event was going to be. So y'all, it was good. It was good.
It definitely was.
This felt like a palate cleanser.
Yep.
Because it was
on it, Papa, also.
Because it was sort of, it was serious but not serious. It had that sense of, dare I say, whimsy to it a little bit. So it was sort of like, okay, we've done all this. Now here's something fun to kind of like chill out so you can get ready for what's coming your way. And it did kind of like got the crowd in a good place. and then of course it happened, and the shenanigans happened, and the funny things happened, and which is, it's so funny because it's so expected. Hechisero's coming into this. You're like, okay, something's gonna go on here. What's gonna happen? And then we see that funny little moment where the mask, and I laughed. I would laugh so hard. I was just like, and the fact that he like tossed it, and then the ref caught it, and it was just like, you got caught, buddy boy. So it was great.
And good on Guido Noriega for his performance in it too, because he caught it and did that whole like looked at it and she said I literally watched him. He is my
favorite ref. I do not care.
I love him.
Him and Aubrey in AEW are like my favorite refs of any company right now in 2024. They are fantastic.
He and Hechicero they were exchanging words there over in the corner.
He is not afraid to.
They were like nose to nose.
Yeah,
I was like, get him. Get him. I'm waiting for the day.
we've seen Guido Noriega like lay into wrestlers, so we know he's not afraid to mix it up.
Oh no, not at all. I'm waiting for him to body slam somebody. I'm really waiting for it. I want to see it. I want to see it so bad.
That would be amazing.
Pick up Hechicero and just like, ugh. And then just sort of do that and walk out. I would just be like, yes, my man, yes.
I'm so ready for this. I cannot wait. Oh my goodness. This was a very fun match, but some words were exchanged between the two because Hechicero tells Volador Jr. that this thing they got going on between them, this, stuff is not over. And Hechicero told Volador Jr. that they will continue this if they wish down the road. So I'm like, I'm sold. Give me more between these two. This is fantastic. And I'm so excited.
No need to like week to week dragging it on. Just be like, when you're ready, I'm ready.
It's like on site the next time we see each other.
Right.
So fantastic. Before we get into our main event, though, we get a wild appearance from the Timeless One herself, Timeless Toni Storm, cutting a promo. And I have a special treat for the audience and to my host. We're not going to talk about the promo because why? We're going to watch it. So we are going to play Toni Storm's promo, and then we'll discuss it when we come back. So let's do this.
Attention fans and employees of CMLL. As you can see, I am very wet, and not in the fun way. For tax purposes, I am currently residing in Florida, and due to Hurricane Milton, every possible flight to Mexico has been cancelled like Fatty Arba. And, after making a series of phone calls, I have been informed that the government does not control the weather. Nevertheless, I regret to inform you that my match against La Catalina has been postponed. But, due to the immense public pressure, it will happen as soon as possible. La Catalina! You threatened to pull the chucha out of me? Shut up. Only I pull the chucha out of me, and I'm going to slap you in the face with it. Then I'm going to grab yours and make it look like a balloon animal. CMLL. Batten down your hatches, for I am the Lucha Hall. And Arena Mexico is going to get the chin up, tits out, and watch for the show.
I freaking love her.
And
So
that is why she's the #1 women's wrestler.
yes,
in the
I was
world.
just gonna bring that up. So this is why Timeless Tony Storm is #1 on the this year's PWI 250 women's wrestler list. She topped the list. She is #1. Oh my gosh, she is so
Yeah.
great.
And-
I love this character for her.
Yeah, and true to her word, this Friday is the reschedule of La Catalina Tony Storm. So we are
we're going to talk about
get
that
to
when we get
see
into the match preview, because I also have some tea, you guys. I got
Yeah.
the final card for the Grand Prix episode in 2 weeks too, so we're going to got double episodes that we're going to go over at the end. But Papa Oso, I want, like, me and El Buntador here have seen this probably way too many times already.
Yeah.
But we don't care. It was amazing. So I
Shut
want
up.
your thoughts. This is yeah,
Yeah.
shut up. I am the Lucha Hall.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. I am the luchador. I was like, I love you so much.
Oh,
Just
so good.
yeah, I love this whole character. My God, it's so fun. It's so fun. Absolutely fun. And yeah, this was great. This was such a great promo. And even the one before the hurricane hit, the last one we watched, then that one was fun. So,
To be
but
honest,
this one
I need
was
money because my
fantastic.
book tour is not doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was fun. I'm your lucha whore. I was like, I love you. God, I love you so much.
I
wanna
need
be your
her to
friend.
make that into a t-shirt. I will buy it. I don't know if
I
I'll wear it in
know.
public, but I will
Yeah.
we'll make our own. I'm gonna reach out to Tony and be like, hey, so question.
The Lucha
Hey.
whore.
I am the Lucha Hall.
The lucha whore.
Tony's Timeless Tony Storm has my favorite promos this year. I have to revisit because I don't know if it's going to be this one or the I Make Love to My Demons Every Night promo against Thunder as my favorite from her this year. But she is in such a renaissance, and I cannot wait for her to mix it up next week, which we'll talk about shortly. But we are not done with women's / Amazonas action because we get into our main event. Oh my gosh, you guys. Like, this was buck wild. So this is the second match. This is phase 2 to see who will go on to challenge for the CMLL Women's the Universal Championship, if you will. And this is the second half of our Amazonas division, in which we have Tessa Blanchard, Lluvia, Sanely, Reina Isis, Skadi, Kira, Tabitha, Valkyria, Era, and my homegirl, Miss Persephone herself.
That's my girl.
So, without spending too much time on it, because we're going to spend a good chunk talking about the entirety of this match as it was, but in order, and I think I got this list right, so hopefully, but in elimination order, first out was Hera, then Valkyria, then Tabitha, Kira, Skadi, Reina Isis, Sanely, and Lluvia, which left Persephone and Tessa Blanchard as the final two. I'm gonna be honest, you guys, because I'm still in that poster child's mentality of wrestlers. I was like, oh yeah, Tessa's gonna win this. Like, she's leading Team International for the tournament. Having her go in to face the championship, why not? It's gonna be great because Tessa is that girl. But when I tell you, I was audibly screaming like a child of joy and happiness when Miss Persephone pulled out the win, you guys. I was so excited. So the finals of this have been set, and we'll talk about it at the end. But now it is going to be Zeuxis versus Persephone for
Ruda versus Ruda.
Yep, for the CMLL Amazonas or the Women's Universal Championship.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, gimme. I'm so excited. El Buntador, this is the second phase of this match. We saw the first phase last week. We got the second phase this week. Just like, There's not enough words, but try at your best you can to describe how you felt about this match.
I just love how when Persephone won, there was no like jumping up and down or anything. She just like elegance, just stood there and just like took it in. You know what I mean? With such elegance and just like, I am a powerhouse and I deserve this. So yes, just, it was great. God, seeing all those Amazonas trying to take on Scotty was yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. It was good. It was a great main event. I'm excited for the finals. Like you, Mikey, when Persephone pulled it, I thought the same thing too. When Tessa Blanchard was at the end there, I was like, all right, Tessa's gonna win it. Yep, poster girl syndrome. Nope. Scream at the TV. So yeah, it was good. It was good.
I absolutely love it. Papa Oso, we tag you in now with your thoughts on our main event.
I will tell you all that I was Team Persephone from the very beginning, and I was like, she's gonna walk away with this, and bam, my bitch did it. I was like, girl, I knew it. I was like, I knew you were gonna take it. I knew it. And I was, this was what I love, these sort of tournament style matches where it's like in and out, boom, get somebody out, boom, get somebody, and kind of whittle them down. I love it. One, because it does, I think it just sort of spotlights all of your talent because they each have their moments. And I love that. And yes, them all fighting Scotty. I was just like, it was like barefoot kicking a brick shit house, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, just watching them do it, I was like, you guys, it's like it was hilarious. But I mean, yeah, this was one of those matches where you're like constantly, you're back, you're forward towards it. You're like, okay. Oh. It's like the whole time. And then when it got down to the end, I was like, okay, all right, Persephone, you're my girl. You got this. And then boom, I was like, whoop. It's like, I had students that were in my acting class when I finished watching it, and they were just like looking in my office. And I was like, it's all good. Doing research. But yeah, it was great. I loved it. And I'm excited for the face-off.
Oh, absolutely. Which does bring us to the end of this week's Los Lobos de la Lucha. But I love what I did last week, so I'm going to continue the tradition. So we're going to preview next week's Viernes Espectacular because CMLL actually tells us in advance when these matches are happening. So thank you, CMLL. But we're going to do a double dose tonight because we're going to talk about this upcoming Friday's episode. And then they will also release the card via the Monday information show of what we are getting at the Grand Prix episode in 2 weeks. But first, let us begin with this upcoming Friday's Viernes Espectacular show. So October 18th, 2024. Our opening match is going to be once again a Relevos Australiano match, which is for one fall, in which we're going to see the team of Max Star, Futuro, and everyone's favorite Mexican candy turn wrestler, Pelon and Capuchado. I am so ready for this already.
Taking on where he's been.
I'm so excited. Taking on the team of Espanto Jr., Dark Magic, and Raider. I'm already sold. I'm like, Mexican candy wrestlers back, y'all.
Yep. That's
so
gonna be fun.
Now, next up, our second match of this upcoming Friday's episode is a special Mexico versus Resto del Mundo Amazonas match. This is going to be a 4-on-4 Representing Team Mexico, we have Amapola, Sanely, Metallica, and Olympia taking on Team World, which is going to be represented by Alex Windsor of the UK. Stepping in from Yo Mama's Kitchen, Red Velvet, Viva Van representing the New Japan Dojo, and Samantha Black.
Wow.
So, but that's not the only Amazonas matches we get, because then following that, we get a special match for, I want to say, if I'm reading this correctly and translating it, it is for the Women's Tag Team Championships. So we are going to have a championship tag team match with our girls Tessa Blanchard and Yuvia defending their titles against, also in the Grand Prix, defending them against our two Japanese talents of Sayaka Unagi and Sumika Yanagawa. So we get to see more girls who are participating in the Grand Prix this Friday. Then, this is not it. Our evento especial, we are getting a standard 3-on-3 men's match with the team of Místico, Atlantis Jr., and Neon taking on Ultimo Guerrero, Stuka Jr., and Gran Guerrero. I'm like, sold. I'm here.
Come on. You can't. Those 6 together, it's gonna be a banger.
Oh, but that's not all, because in our semi-main event for this Friday's episode, it is the Gran Final por el Campeonato Universal de Amazonas. So the finals is happening this Friday. Zeuxis versus Persephone.
Yeah.
That match is gonna be so good.
Yeah.
And then in our main event, it is Doble Lucha Estrella Special Mano a Mano AEW versus CMLL. Miss Timeless Tony Storm versus La Catalina in the main event of this Friday's episode. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 Amazonas matches out of the 6 we're getting this Friday. So,
clutch your pearls, y'all. The women are getting matches.
But that's not all, because I said that we were going to be doing a double dose, because as of the Informacion show that happens every Monday on CMLL, we got our card for the International Grand Prix too. So, kicking off the night, we have our favorite Dulce Gardenia taking on Defunto in a Relampago match. So that's going to open the show, which makes me super excited. Then we have a non-title match where we have Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja taking on Magnus and Rugido.
Okay.
Then for the CMLL Light Heavyweight Championship, we have Averno defending the title against Zandokin Jr. So this is going to be fun. Then we have a special match in which we have Máscara Dorada, Místico, and Templario taking on the team of Barbaro Cavenario, Euforia, and Soberano Jr.
Wow.
Oh, that match is going to be so good. Then, in the main event, because that Máscara, Místico, Templario, Cavenario, Euforia, and Soberano match is semi. Then, of course, in the main event is the Amazonas Grand Prix. Representing Team Mexico as Amapola, Dark Silueta, Era, Kira, Lluvia, Princesa Sujit, Reina Isis, Sanely, Skyvi, and Zeuxis taking on Team World, which is Alex Windsor, La Catalina, Persephone, Red Velvet, Samantha Black, Sumika Yanagawa, Tessa Blanchard, who technically is our captain for Team World because she was the winner last year, Unagi Sayaki, Viva Van, and of course, rounding us out is Miss Willow Nightingale herself from AEW. Guys, the next 2 weeks are going to be so good.
Yeah. And then that weekend after the Grand Prix, they're having Day of the Dead specials all weekend long.
I am so excited. Dia de los Huertos, listen. I get excited for wrestling in general, but when I tell you, as a Latino wrestling fan. Like, these next 3 weeks are just gonna be so much fun. I am so excited. And you can't tell me otherwise. But gentlemen, that is gonna be it this week for Los Lobos de la Lucha. I know I'm sad that this has ended, but fear not, because the next 3 weeks are gonna be so flippin' fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. Alrighty, we got to get up on out of here though, because it is late for some of us. But thank you for tuning into another episode of Los Lobos de la Lucha. We will be back next week reviewing the penultimate Viernes Espectacular show before the Grand Prix. And so for myself, El Bunador, Papa Oso, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. So we'll catch you next week for another CMLL review. But until then, sayonara, adios, and watch for the shoe. Wrong thing. We'll see you next week.